Is Scorpio enough to bring in more players into the Xbox community? Now, this is actually a question that I've been thinking long and hard about. I have done lots of research, read lots of articles, studied graphs, done the math, read a couple star charts and horoscopes, and the answer I've come to is in all seriousness, thinking about whether or not the Scorpio is really going to add more adoption to the Xbox community, yes and no. I mean, there's always going to be those people that are excited by new hardware that are going to pick it up at launch date. There are those people that want the highest end system out there without going to the trouble of building a PC. So yeah, some people are going to move over to Scorpio right away. But is it going to be a large number? I'm not really convinced yet. You know, I think Scorpio alone is a strong move, but there is more that we need, because really, when you look at this generation, one of the biggest things that has separated the systems, other than power, is exclusives. Sony has a huge number of exclusives, while Microsoft has kind of just leaned on a few of their biggest, like Halo and Gears of War, and then either pushed back or canceled a lot of other ones that we've been waiting on. I mean, Scalebound got canceled, and Crackdown 3 we keep hearing about and keep not actually knowing what's happening with it. So for Scorpio to really make a huge move for Microsoft, we need some exclusives to go along with it. Thankfully, they've already announced a lot about Scorpio as far as its tech specs, so I'm hoping that frees up time at their E3 conference so we can see some game announcements paired with it. Who has a better world, Horizon Zero Dawn or Breath of the Wild? Now, this is actually a really interesting question, because while both of them are open world, both games took very, very different approaches on how to accomplish it. For Horizon Zero Dawn, for instance, is basically a further refinement of what we've already seen in a lot of other free roam games, mainly Far Cry, where you have this sort of approach of find a high area, it marks your map, and it shows all the different stuff you can do, the side quests you can accept, collectibles to find, monsters to hunt, so on and so forth. While Legend of Zelda borrows these concepts, but it almost feels like Nintendo kind of broke them down and took a step back for more simplicity, where there are towers you can climb, but it literally just gives you the lay of the land. It marks your map and shows the geography, but it's up to you to actually look around and find things like shrines you want to discover, or weird oddities, or where there's nearby towns, that kind of thing. And as a result of that, I actually like Zelda a lot more, because Horizon Zero Dawn is still a great game, but it always feels like you're just kind of making your way from one objective to the next. While Zelda, you actually have to take your time exploring things freely to find the stuff you want to find. Finding shrines is a very, very tough thing to do for some of them. And so it just gives this extra feeling of you're actually exploring and discovering something, and this open world is actually this interesting thing you're finding, and not just, well, there's the next waypoint you need to reach. Favorite game genre? Favorite game from each major genre you play? So for me, my favorite genre is definitely RPGs. That's been my favorite for a long time, and pretty much anything you could consider an RPG, whether it's the old school turn-based stuff that you'll see with the older Final Fantasy games, more modern action RPG hybrids, tactics games, old pause and plays like Baldur's Gate, or more recently Pillars of Eternity. All that stuff I love. But I'm pretty good about spreading the love with other genres as well. I mean, I spend time with action-adventure stuff, puzzle, platforming, FPS. The only thing I really don't play much of is like the really heavy simulationist type of stuff. Like anything that's trying to be more like real life, whether that's doing a sports game or certain racing games, I just don't really care. For me, the more fantastic or weird or sci-fi a game is, the more I love it. Which type of games do you enjoy? Old retro titles versus modern AAA titles, or does it depend on the situation? More often than not, I actually do end up falling in love a lot more with the charm of the kind of indie titles that try to capture old school style. I mean, one of my favorite games from a couple years back is Shovel Knight, because it was sort of taking the best aspects of old games like Mega Man or even the older Mario games and Castlevania, but adding in more modern game mechanics and elements while still keeping that old school look and charm. So yeah, I do my best to kind of not favor one or the other, but at the end of the day, I probably am a little biased towards retro. What's your favorite Mario Kart weapon? Well, you know, there's a lot of good choices. I really like the horn because it prevents blue shells from hitting you. Red shells are useful just to annoy your friends. But at the end of the day, if I had to pick one, I'd probably go with the coin because it's the only thing you're stuck with when you're in first place all the time.